Good afternoon. My name is Kirk Lundy. I live in Tucker, and I am speaking representing myself and not anybody else. Even though I am talking about being on the SAP committee, I am not speaking for the SAP committee or any other SAP committee members. I'm only speaking for myself. Right-sizing our school enrollment and building utilization, the Dekalb County School District could save $150 to $200 million a year in annual operating costs. That was the conclusion of an analysis done by Board Member McGinnis in support of the Student Assignment Committee. I did a different analysis, which showed the amount could be $45 to $50 million more. Why are we looking at these things? Because the chief financial officer said the administration doesn't have the capacity to do that when I asked him to do it for SAP. In fact, most of the information the SAP committee members asked to review wasn't available because the school district doesn't use metrics to assess the effectiveness of programs or transportation costs or any number of things that normal school districts do. To his credit, Dr. Horton began the SAP and hasn't shied away from acknowledging that we had poor practices in the past, and he has worked very hard to change those, and going forward, things will be much better. Thank you, Dr. Horton. But unless he and the board are courageous and follow through on what needs to be done, the SAP or SAP will become just like the CMP, an expensive investment of time and energy that just goes on the shelf or in the trash. Do you know that we have over 20,000 empty seats in the school district? Based on the school district construction guidelines, that equates to 19 empty schools that we are heating and cooling, or 19 schools that we are heating and cooling that we don't need to be. Atlanta Public Schools has recently started a public campaign, a media campaign, to explain why they need to change their attendance lines and consolidate schools. They have numbers. They have said, they have a video out saying we're losing $350 million a year, and APS is half the size. Well, 50 to 88, so 60% of the size. We might be losing $350 million a year too. We don't know. I came to talk about the SAP, but Winbrook Elementary has 0 operating printers right now, and they haven't had any since Thursday. What is the response time for printers? I was just printing this out at the backside of the building, and there were teachers there who were not going home anytime soon.
Thank you. Mr. Sobchak?
Good evening. My name is Daniel Sobchak. I'm an economics teacher at Southwest DeKalb High School, the proud uncle of 2 Evansdale Eagles, and a voter and taxpayer in District 6. I want to begin with the reality of where DeKalb stands when it comes to teacher pay compared to our neighbors. As usual this time of year, I've compared DeKalb's teacher salary schedule to 6 nearby districts. I understand uncertainty coming from DC requires us to be cautious with our budget, but we must remain competitive with our neighbors. Of the 7 districts in my survey, we rank 4th, 5th, or 6th on nearly 2/3 of the steps on the salary schedule. That is middle of the pack and not a leader in attracting or retaining top educators. And it's not just about our place in the rankings. It's also about what's happening to real incomes. Looking at the data in June's inflation numbers, teachers at every experience level and degree tier are losing purchasing power. Even early career educators are seeing annual losses of around 1%. And by mid-career, the losses grow steeper, nearly 2% per year for some. This means that while our pay may look like it's getting an increase due to the steps on paper, in reality, educators are getting poorer this year, and with July's inflation numbers expected to be worse, those losses will deepen. For our support staff, the situation is even more stark. According to the MIT Living Wage Calculator, a single adult in DeKalb County needs $25.83 per hour. That's roughly $53,700 a year just to meet basic needs. Many of our paraprofessionals, custodians, transportation staff, and nutrition workers fall well short of that threshold. These are the people who keep our schools running every day, yet their wages often don't cover the cost of living in the county they serve. That's why the decision to give the superintendent a nearly 11% raise is troubling. Leadership does deserve fair pay, but the optics are clear. The gap between the top and the classroom widens while people doing the day-to-day work fall further behind. I've already thanked Dr. Hogan and Mr. DaCosta for their no votes, and I want to also thank Mr. Wasu for voting no on this raise. Your stances recognize both the financial realities and the message that it sends to our employees. Finally, I'd like to address Mr. Ziffer's concern about ending the school after Memorial Day this year. This happens because Memorial Day fell early in the holiday cycle. In the next 2 years, it will fall late, which means we can design calendars that end before Memorial Day and still preserve our full October and February breaks. That's the kind of plan that keeps instructional time intact, respects family schedules, and avoids unnecessary calendar conflicts. I urge the board not to consider not only the numbers, but also the people behind them, our teachers, our support staff, and our families when making decisions. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Samuels?
Good evening, board members, superintendent, and community partners. I'm Michael Samuels, the founder of Boys to Men Foundation. I first want to thank you for having me back. By now, most of you know my story. You've heard about the Blueprint experience. You know this isn't theory. This is battle-tested, real-world experience. It's service, it's leadership, it's transformation. And tonight, I'm not here to recycle words. I'm here for you to see me, know me, and remember the name. I made the time to be here because this matters deeply to me. And I want you to understand just how much this means to me. Since we last met, I've been in schools and living rooms and conversations with educators and parents. And everywhere I go, I hear the same thing. Our boys still need this. That urgency hasn't faded. Matter of fact, it's louder now. Boys to Men isn't just another program. It's presence, it's mentorship, it's consistency. It's leadership that speaks the language of our young men and meets them exactly where they're at. We're not here to compete. We're here to complement the work that's already being done, to fill the gaps emotionally, socially, developmentally, so that these boys stand solid in who they are and who they're becoming. So tonight, thank you for your time, your leadership, and for making space for mission-driven work like this. Because when young kings shift, the culture shifts with them. And Dekalb County can be the district that boldly says, we don't just graduate students, we grow men. We're here, we're committed. Let's build the blueprint together. Thank you.
Thank you. Deborah Jones?
Good evening, Board Chair, Mrs. Pierce, Vice Chair, Ms. Kurtz, Dr. Horton, and members of the board. I'm Deborah Jones, a middle school teacher and the proud president of the Organization of DeKalb Educators. I sent an email to Dr. Horton, Ms. Dillard, Mr. Schuman, and Ms. Mills Davis about the clock in, check out, clock out issue without any response from anybody. I felt like a little gnat on a hot Georgia afternoon buzzing around someone's head, all the while being swatted at constantly. Just a bothersome insect. Then I received an email saying the DeKalb County School District is rolling out a new time and attendance system in which exempt employees, salaried employees, pay is going to be docked if they do not check in by their report time. The word on the street, as members of the Superintendent's Advisory Council are complaining about, and we're told the purpose of the switch to time and attendance was to give them more ownership over their time worked. Instead, it's being presented to employees as another micromanagement strategy and increasing the workload of bookkeepers and principals. Mr. Schuman assured me last year that people didn't have to clock out. Now people are being told that they must do this or be docked. Federal law says salaried employees don't clock in or out. What is the district trying to do? I have fought this same fight for the last 10 years. DeKalb needs to get this together. The board has an attorney. As a matter of fact, there are 2 attorneys here. You guys should be in conversation about this, in which You are mishandling this business. We have just started school, and the rogue administrators are at it all again. Not only are they threatening employees, but they have started to lie, I think, on people here at AIC. How and why would an administrator tell an employee that Ms. Dillard said that the principal should write them up? Why would that happen? The caseload of ESOL teachers is extremely high, and they are feeling the burden of these large class sizes. What can be done about this? We already have employees who find themselves starting to work 1 and sometimes 1.5 hours before school starts in order to keep up with the workload. And these are veteran teachers. Burnout is real. I'm just a little confused. Clearly, DCSD has other issues to contend with at the start of the new school year. No air conditioning, parking further from buildings with furniture sitting outside in the elements. These are the things that you should work through. During new teacher orientation, I saw some young people coming into the district. These young people aren't invested in education as those who are 15, 20 years in. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, Michael Neal. And please remember that we do not discuss personnel matters in public comments. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Michael Neal. First, I just want to thank you all for the contributions you make to our kids, teachers, and staff on a daily basis. It's a pleasure to be here with you, and I'm deeply grateful for all that you do. I'm here tonight to discuss DeKalb County's policy on unstructured break time or outdoor play time in its elementary schools. With 3 children ages 4 to 11 in DeKalb County schools, a member of Fernbank Elementary's Principal Advisory Council, and a former faculty member of Vanderbilt University's College of Education, I hope to offer a perspective that can be helpful to you, that of a parent, PAC liaison, educator, and education researcher. DeKalb County's current policy of 15 minutes unstructured break time falls short of established empirical minimum standards. Leading authorities like the Center for Disease Control and the American Academy of Pediatrics recommend at least 20 minutes in the school day. The state of Georgia's guidelines suggest 30 minutes. And research on the relationship between learning and play actually would suggest even more play time than that. Most of us who are committed to improving learning outcomes may initially ask in response, well, doesn't more instructional time to equate to more learning? Research shows that extended seat time at the expense of play, in fact, negatively impacts student learning. Structured and unstructured playtime alongside high-quality instruction improves student achievement. We also know that playtime boosts cognitive function and improves classroom behavior and social skills. So, playtime is not just about letting off steam. Playtime is a critical component of learning and child development. As a member of PAC, I can tell you that parents are vigorously questioning this 15-minute policy, and the evidence against it is readily accessible to them. In short, the relationship between academic work and play is not particularly complex or nuanced. 15 minutes is not a defensible minimum. Therefore, I have 2 requests. Long-term, please align the policy with at least minimum recommendations for unstructured break time. In the short term, please grant principals autonomy and flexibility to do what is best for student learning without fear of non-compliance with a policy that contradicts well-established research. We can do this in a way that our kids' playtime and work time function hand in hand to accomplish ambitious learning goals. Thank you so much for your time and attention.
All right. Thank you. Next up is Candace Roach, and on deck after that, we have Jennifer Held, Nicole Graham, Anna Strano, and Lynn Marsh.
Hello, we are back. As in Boys to Men, we are back. Hello, Mr. Devin Horton and board members. We are back, Boys to Men. My name is Candace L. Roach. And why we are back is because repetition is key, right? Yeah. And we teach that in education as well. We are establishing proof points this first go round with the Boys to Men organization. of our worthiness to be down, so to say, with Dekalb County Board of Education. The first step in establishing that is to give a small description of what we can bring to the school system here. Besides our heart and our hustle, that's clearly been shown because we've been coming here and doing our homework for the past several months. The founder himself, Michael Samuels, flies into Atlanta from Iowa to speak for 3 minutes. I admire his passion for the Boys to Men organization. The current executive circle is myself, Candace L. Roach. A little bit about my background, is I've been an entrepreneur for 20 years and a full-time entrepreneur for 11 years. All that means is I have established living on a lot of faith. And I think when you're in service of others, that's one thing you need is faith and patience, and I have that. That's a proof point. We have Cheryl Warren Smith. She has a heart of gold. In every conference call we have, she is reiterating we need to do more for the kids. We have to be in the schools more and in the communities. Some of these kids go home hungry. How can we feed them? We have to speak and feed the kids at the same time. She's also an admin wizard as she keeps us afloat on proper paperwork and styles to introduce and reintroduce our program. Another proof point. We have Detavio Samuels, an extensive background in business and in corporate America. He is now running a $90 million company, being the new CEO of Revolt. He has always given the organization guidance on financial strategies to stay afloat and doesn't ask for a dime to do so. So we are grateful for him. Proof point. And then we have Michael Samuels, the founder and the visionary himself. I've never worked with such a humble man, someone that his whole life exemplifies servicehood, from being a father, a husband, even working as a cop, and the list goes on. I'm here because of his vision and his wherewithal. Proof point. What are we looking for, you ask? One, we are looking for a go-to person that can help us structure out how many schools out of the 139 schools in the district we will visit this school year. We need guidance on exactly how to go about it this year. We are ready. And lastly, the entire organization of Boys to Men, we have relationship resources. We are in contact with some pretty cool people like Eric Thomas, the #1 motivational speaker of the world. We want to surprise the kids with great features. We want to come in and we want to make a great impact on the culture. And we have cool people that's connected to the culture that can make an impact on the kids. So here we are again with our heart, our hustle, and our relationship resources. What's next? You tell us. And the Boys to Men organization will see you yet again at the next town hall meeting. Why? Because repetition is key. Thank you.
I love her.
Thank you. Next, Jennifer Held.
Good evening, and thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. My name is Jenny Held, and I live in Tucker. As a DeKalb County resident and parent, I'm here to share my concerns about recess time in our elementary schools. We know that children need unstructured play to support their physical health and the development of critical life skills like problem solving, creativity, and collaboration. Recess time also improves kids' ability to focus in the classroom. I care about literacy, and I care about ensuring our kids' academic success. And I firmly believe that our approach to improving academic achievement must acknowledge and meet children's need for unstructured play. Last Friday's email message from the superintendent noted that the district is following state law and that approximately 90% of schools met the 15-minute daily recess requirement. Most schools meeting the minimum threshold required by state law and not even the state recommended amount of time is far from my vision of success for DeKalb County. Since late last week, more than 2,000 residents have expressed in an online petition that 15 minutes of recess is not their vision of success either. We must do better. I appreciate the district's commitment to reviewing the current unstructured break policy. As part of that process, I strongly urge the district to mandate a minimum of 30 minutes of daily recess for K through 5. As the research shows, and as other speakers will be affirming here tonight, 15 minutes of recess per day does not reflect our current understanding of best practice. I also ask the district for your full transparency about other proposed or enacted district-wide changes to curriculum requirements that will affect the amount of flexibility individual schools have to set their student schedules. It is a disservice to our children that the time for daily recess has been reduced in several county schools this year, moving many students even further from receiving an appropriate amount of recess time.
I'm in my bag watching this.
Also, my children's principals should not have to choose between adding time to a 15-minute recess period or cutting a 30-minute lunch period even shorter. While I'm representing myself as an individual today, I firmly agree with the 30 for Recess group's statement that 30 for Recess is not just a slogan, it's a commitment to child well-being. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Nicole Graham.
Good evening, esteemed members of the board, superintendent, and valued community partners. My name is Nicole Graham, and I am the president and co-founder of Sprouting Minds Enrichment Club. We are dedicated to supporting the academic and personal growth of K-5 students, providing high-quality after-school programs that implement excellent work studies for STEAM enrichment. Right now, only about 40% of elementary students in DeKalb need proficiency in math and reading, according to the latest data. At the same time, research study shows that the quality of after-school programs can reduce risky behaviors by 50% and improve academic performance. Sprouting Minds aims to build a strong foundation with what the district already has.
One day these folks
Offering STEAM, aviation, lifestyle skills, movement, and social emotional learning programs inside of our schools. Our curriculum aligns with the Georgia Standards of Excellence, reinforcing classroom learning while inspiring students toward future careers.
they're gonna send in
We
honey.
provide trained
Yeah, they say-
educators, certified activity leaders, family engagement at no cost to the district. This removes barriers like transportation, affordability, ensuring every child has access to safe, enriching, and supportive after-school programming.
They ain't gonna
Together, we can advance equity and excellence across DeKalb County schools, transforming after-school hours into a launch pad for lifelong success. We are ready to begin immediately and respectfully seek the approval to serve your students without delay. Thank you for your time and attention.
They don't want your help.
Thank you. Anna Strano.
She get nervous because like, close to speaking. Take way too much pleasure.
Good evening, board members. My name is Anna Strano, excuse me, and I'm a parent in DeKalb County. I'm here to talk about why 30 minutes of recess is critical to our children's well-being, specifically their mental health and emotional regulation. I know the policy hasn't changed since 2009, but it's clear that there has been a decrease in recess time. My son's class went from 20 minutes last year to just 10 minutes this year. This decision directly contradicts the recommendations of leading health and education authorities. Both the CDC and the American Academy of Pediatrics recommend a minimum of 20 minutes of daily recess. Research shows that a 10-minute break is often not enough for children to disengage, move their bodies, and reset. In fact, some studies suggest that these short breaks can leave kids feeling more hyper and less able to focus. Beyond physical benefits, recess is a vital protective factor for our children's mental health. A recent study published in June of this year found that fourth graders with more daily recess had significantly lower levels of chronic stress. U.S. Surgeon General Dr. Vivek Murthy issued a mental health advisory in December 2001, stating that before the COVID-19 pandemic, up to 1 in 5 children ages 3 to 17 in the U.S. have a mental, emotional, developmental, or behavioral disorder. When we cut recess, this can contribute to the rise in anxiety, depression, and behavioral issues. Recess isn't just a break. It's an essential tool for children's developing brains to rest and reset, helping them return to class more attentive and ready to learn. Recess is also a key driver of social emotional learning. Peer interactions during unstructured free play is how children learn to negotiate, compromise, and resolve conflicts. They build friendships, develop empathy, and practice communication skills. Cutting recess time takes away these vital opportunities for peer interaction and growth that are not the same as in-classroom peer interactions. Finally, I want to argue that recess is a powerful protective factor against academic burnout. Research shows a positive correlation between more recess and better academic performance. Dr. Horton, you once stated, our primary focus remains the safety, success, and well-being of our students and community. If that is still the case, then making recess at least 30 minutes would be consistent with that focus. Increasing recess time to 30 minutes would allow our county to be the disruptors for excellence and a leader of this movement for the entire state of Georgia. 30 for recess is not just a slogan, it's a commitment to child well-being. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Strano. Next, Lynn Marsh.
Good evening, members of the board, parents, and educators. I'm Lynn Marsh. Today, I want to speak about something simple but powerful, recess, also known as UBT, not as an afterthought, not as a privilege that can be taken away, but as an essential part of learning. Think about your own school days. What was your favorite part? For most of us, it was recess, not because we didn't like learning, because the break gave us the ability to love learning. UBT at Avondale Elementary has been cut from 30 minutes to 15 for this school year for our kids to play, run, imagine, just be children. By the time they settle into a game, the whistle blows and it's over, and they haven't had the reset they need. Recess isn't lost instructional time. It's an investment in better instruction. When kids move, play, and socialize, they come back to class ready to engage. When we cut recess short, we're not making room for more learning. We're making it harder for learning to happen at all. I'm a nurse practitioner, and in my profession, we don't change things for our patients unless we have research and data to back it up. I don't understand why the board thinks that adding more literacy or instruction time at the cost of unstructured break time is what's best for our children, especially when that's not what all the top academic institutions recommend. The American Academy of Pediatrics, the nation's leading voice for children's health, calls recess crucial for optimal childhood development. Their recommendations are for at least 20 minutes of recess daily, if not more. Their policy is clear. It should never be withheld for academic purposes. Why? Because unstructured play improves attention, memory, behavior regulation, and problem solving. In other words, if we want our students to learn more, they need to play more. The CDC and Shape America agree as well. They recommend at least 20 minutes outdoors whenever possible, in addition to PE. They emphasize that recess is different from gym. It's unstructured time for children to explore, imagine, and recharge. The Robert Wood Johnson Foundation reviewed dozens of studies that found longer breaks, 20 minutes or more, improve classroom behavior, reduce fidgeting, and boost physical activity. But the catch is, with just a short 15-minute break, kids spend several minutes just transitioning. That means less than 10 minutes of play. Barely enough time to start a game, let alone finish one. Short breaks limit vigorous physical activity, which is directly tied to improved attention and on-task behavior afterwards. Longer recess unlocks better focus, better listening, and better peer relationships. I urge this board to adopt a policy that ensures our elementary students maintain the 30 minutes of recess they had last school year, and make sure that this protected time is not taken away for extra work. Our children deserve it, our teachers will see the benefit, and all of the top academic institutions back it up.
Thank you. Next up, we have Susanna Moreira Jaquero. And on deck, we have Marianne Pettis, Adelaide Moore, Daniela Hazelwood, and Kathea Similton Tremino.
Hello, board. Good evening. My name is Susanna Jaquero. I'm the parent of an elementary student in DeKalb Public Schools, and my elected school board rep is Ms. Gevertz. As you've heard and will continue to hear after me, and as you can see standing behind me, 30 for Recess is not just a group of parents sporting blue tonight, or 1,300 signatures on a petition in less than 24 hours. We're a coalition of deeply engaged, deeply concerned families from across DeKalb Public Elementaries and growing geographically. We are here because something critical was taken from our children, and it was done without transparency, without consultation, and without consent. The recent district-wide scheduling changes stripped principals of their autonomy to build daily schedules that reflect the needs of their unique school communities. These changes were implemented with zero public input. Not one PAC or PTA was consulted. I've served on both for over 3 years now. Not one parent received communication, no email, no text, no newsletter, no robocall. There was no meeting, no forum, no opportunity for engagement. A 2-page mention in a 66-page district academic report buried under the miracles subsection on the website with only teacher, coach, and district leader feedback does not cut it. Board Rule 160-5-1.02 states the board is to, quote, notify parents of its adopted number of instructional minutes for grades K through 12 in a manner consistent with established district communication procedures. This was not just a procedural failure, it's a breach of trust. I'm here tonight not only as a parent, but as a strategic and systems thinker. I know what happens when decisions are made without stakeholder voice. Inequity deepens, outcomes suffer, and families disengage and in turn suffer. You already know what CDC and other public health agency guidelines are for recess. This is why recess is an equity issue. It is absolutely not an extra to be messed with. It's a fundamental component of whole child education. Federal law already points in this direction. The Individuals with Disabilities Education Act states students are entitled to a free, appropriate public education, one that meets their unique needs. For many students with ADHD, autism, or other health impairments, recess is not a luxury. It's an educational support that directly enables them to focus, regulate, and access the curriculum. 30 for Recess is yet again not a slogan. It's a parent-driven movement demanding evidence-based, child-centered scheduling that honors the developmental needs of every student. It is a call to implement practices that educators support, research affirms, and families accept.
Yes.
How can you possibly expect to soar together this year when you are actively clipping children's wings?
Ooh.
And last, let's not forget your words, Dr. Horton, that students do not fail. It's the systems that we create as adults to fail our students.
Oh, yes, yes, he did say that.
Thank you.
He did say that. He did say that.
Mary Ann Pettis.
Hi, I'm Mary Ann Pettis, and I'm advocating for at least 30 minutes of recess in DeKalb. DeKalb parents received an email from Dr. Horton, meaning our emails to state reps, conversations with media outlets, and petition to DeKalb with over 2,100 signatures have not gone unnoticed. Dr. Horton's email mentions the schools that have had to decrease their recess time because of strategic targeted priorities. Is the whole day, except for lunch and recess, the target? The county has dictated how 5 hours and 45 minutes are spent out of the 6.5-hour school day, meaning the only autonomy over schedules teachers and schools now have is how they're going to split 45 minutes between lunch and recess. This leaves our kids with only 15 to 20 minutes of recess on paper. Let me explain what I mean by on paper with a quote from a DeKalb teacher. Our specials class ended at the same time that recess was supposed to start. It takes a good 6 to 7 minutes to get the kids lined up and through the building out to the playground. So if recess is 15 minutes, you're looking at only a few minutes to play. You have to also line them back up and get them back into the classroom before the next subject begins. If the county policy is a minimum of 15 minutes of unstructured play, who is making sure they are even getting that? Because it sounds like the county is making it almost impossible for teachers to even meet the county's own minimum standard of recess. Is that what our kids deserve? The bare minimum, if that? The research on unstructured play is clear. It develops self-regulation, improves executive functioning, helps them concentrate in class, improves behavior, and contributes to academic success. It's the best opportunity for students to practice social emotional skills like teamwork, empathy, and resolving conflict. Kids must be quiet in class, hallways, and parts of their short lunch. They aren't robots. They need this vital time for social interactions and play. Recess can improve attendance and school climate. Social imaginary play increases a child's impulse control and ability to follow social rules. As for literacy, all parents want their kids to learn how to read. Test scores are most influenced by the quality of education, not the quantity of minutes. By saying goodbye to the 3 queuing system and requiring teacher training in science of reading aligned curriculum, we are setting our kids up for success in reading. Let's not overcorrect. We have schedules from counties with 30 minutes of both lunch and recess with higher test scores than our county. Success in life is more than test scores. The Harvard study of adult development shows us that it's not our money, status, or career that determines happiness and health in life. It's our relationships. More instructional time won't teach our children about empathy, self-regulation, friendship, teamwork, adaptability, or conflict resolution. But more recess is a start and a place for our kids to practice these skills. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Adelaide Moore.
First, I would like to say thank you for inviting me here to speak today. My name is Adelaide Moore. I'm the Executive Director of Healing Souls. I have worked in DeKalb County Schools for over 10 years and serving in different roles. And one thing I've been noticing over this time is the ongoing issues that deeply affects both teachers and staff, and ultimately our students. According to your research from last school year conducted by DeKalb Schools, 69% of your employees are at risk of high emotional, social challenges that diminish their passion for teaching. This reality impacts teachers' retention, lowers the quality of instructional practice, and increase stress and mental concerns. And when our teacher struggles, our student suffers. We must address these problems at their core by focusing not only on our students, but also the people who serve them every single day. Children are our future, and our future depends on our teachers. What I'm proposing is a partnership with the board to directly prioritize teachers and staff social emotional wellness. Our goal is to reignite their passion for teaching, provide in-classroom resources to support differentiated instruction, and build resilience, self-worth, and sense of purpose. Healing Souls want to take actionable steps by offering in-school wellness groups and coaching services for teachers and staff, providing in-classroom resources and tools through grants and community support, creating opportunity for professional growth that strengthen both career development and teaching practices. We cannot carry out this mission without your support. Together, we can create an environment where teachers feel valued, supported, and inspired, and ultimately where students thrive because of it. I would be delighted to have another opportunity to meet again to show you in more detail how our innovative interventions can make a lasting impact on teachers, staff, wellness, and student learning, and overall our community as a whole. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you. Kathea Similton Tremino.
Okay, Kat. Okay, baby girl. Do your thing. Okay. Purpose right there with you. Purpose there with you.
Oh, sorry. Yes, you're right. Sorry. Daniela Hazelwood was next.
Oh,
And
you
then,
do what?
Miss Similton Tremino. Thank you for catching that.
Thank you.
What?
Thank you. Well, my name is Daniela Hazelwood. I have a kindergartner at Midville Elementary. I'd like to begin by saying that our experience in our very first week of school has been wonderful. When asked every day, what's the best part of your day? He has said everything. However, I will point out that all he has talked about is how he got to go play outside in the playground with his new friends. So it has been the highlight of his day every day. So I'm here not only as an individual parent, but as part of a collective of families known as 30 for Recess to voice our concerns that a minimum of 30 minutes of recess is critical to our children's well-being. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention defines that recess as regularly scheduled periods within the elementary school day for unstructured physical activity and play. And the Academy of Pediatrics delineates in their publication the crucial role of recess in school, that recess allows for unstructured, supervised physical and social and emotional development. Recess is not a luxury, it's a developmental necessity. It supports the whole child's well-being to include their cognitive, physical, emotional, and social development. I quote the AAP that recess represents an essential planned respite from rigorous cognitive tasks. It affords a time to rest, play, imagine, think, move, and socialize. After recess for children or after a corresponding break time for adolescents in middle school, students are more attentive and better able to perform cognitively. In addition, recess helps young children to develop social skills that are otherwise not acquired in the more structured classroom environment. Furthermore, the AAP reports that a growing trend toward reallocating time in schools for academic subjects has put this integral part of a child's school day at risk. Though the CDC and other authorities recommend at least 20 minutes of recess, new research suggests this is insufficient. For example, an Arizona study specifically recommends a minimum of 30 minutes as a more effective policy target. And the LINK project in Texas that implemented a 30 minutes a day district-wide found no academic harm
Actually, benefits were observed in focus and behavior. And as a new elementary school parent, I'm shocked and appalled to learn this year that my child only has 20 minutes of recess, including transition to there. This does not sit well with me, especially when comparing to nearby charter school that has 2 30-minute breaks for kindergarten, and older grades get a full 30 minutes excluding the transition. There are several states that have adopted statewide legislation, and 30 minutes is the minimum in Washington, Illinois, West Virginia, Arizona, and most recently California last school year. Arkansas also has 40 minutes, and recently Tennessee passed in July 2025 an increase to 40 minutes. Can we not be the status quo? Can we please be part of a drive to make changes that will help us in our mission to promote the academic, social, and emotional growth of each student? I am asking that the board please consider a mandate for at least 30 minutes of recess for K through 5. 30 for recess is not just a slogan, it is a commitment to the child well-being. Thank you.
Ow.
Thank you, Ms. Hazelwood. Now, Ms. Similton Tremino.
Yes. See my girl. Thank you so much.
I am Kathia Simulton Tremenio, a parent of an African-American Black child at Ashford Park Elementary in Brookhaven, Georgia. Thank you for these 180 seconds to address you here. I am concerned with the ongoing hostile culture, safety, and equity concerns regarding the treatment of Black and minority students and families at Ashford Park Elementary in DeKalb County. I would like to highlight these key issues. Number one, communication barriers. District staff have allegedly been instructed not to communicate with us, limiting the resources of the Office of Equity and Opportunity. While we believe in the purpose and mission of this office, however, the Chief Equity Officer is restricted from communicating with any legal guardian or parent. How equitable is this opportunity to utilize this office? Additionally, I understand billable hours of counsel, yet restricting access of parents to public district employees appears unlawful. Refusal and lack of acknowledging in a timely manner simply the receipt of communications from parents appears void of basic courtesy and standards held professionally. Number two, inadequate safety measures. The district has failed to create with our family an adequate safety plan and management plan for our daughter. The generic, unspecified plan offered by Wraparound Services after refusing to make second revisions is simply unacceptable. Number three, I would like to most significantly ring the alarm regarding the case of a member of administration at Ashford Park Elementary remaining employed by an administrator in the district for months, despite being arrested for first-degree felony child abuse, which attaches a 5-year minimum sentence, and first-degree battery. How are administrators allowed to simply transfer to other schools after allowing continued abuse of children and employees arrested under investigation for degrees of felonies against children for child abuse, working months in the district at Ashford Park Elementary? Number four, we are still alarmed and concerned with the criminal threats and lacks of reporting in the investigations. Why has our family not received an update into the criminal investigation? Our family received threatening criminal emails linked to confidential internal school emails with district employees. We asked for transparency. Our child was bullied. We are concerned with the ongoing misconduct and allegations of misconduct with administrators and security personnel. We ask for the following. Please implement a DeKalb County school police officer at the school immediately. Please implement a safety officer on the campus continuously. Please offer aid to our child who is being abused. Enforce security protocols, ID scans, and programs where all families have access to all lotteries, genuine integration of equitable access to the German Immersion Program and other opportunities at Ashford Park Elementary and throughout the district. I close with this request to Superintendent to remove communication barriers, lag times with our family, and allow our child to return to a normal state of life. Thank you.
Thank you. Up next, we have Heather Davis. After that, we have Allison Barganer, David Siskind, Tyler Gaines, and Miriam Martin.
Good evening. I'm Heather Davis. I'm a parent of 3 elementary school students in the county. And tonight I want to speak a little bit more about the need for a policy specific to recess. We've heard about the national guidance Most kids in the United States are getting close to an average time of 30 minutes of recess. There are many states who have mandates of 40 minutes, like Tennessee and Arkansas. California and Illinois mandates 30 minutes across all schools. So tonight, I am asking you, our school board, to mandate 30 minutes of recess by codifying recess in your local school policy, a policy that would include the minimum daily duration, 30 minutes, consistent across every elementary school in our district, making sure that we are not withholding recess for discipline or unfinished classwork. And this policy would also help with accountability to make sure that recess cannot quietly be reduced. Making recess a policy also ensures equality. There's data from CDC and other academic studies that shows students in under-resourced schools often get less recess than their peers in wealthier districts. And this isn't because these children need less movement. It's often because these schools are facing higher testing pressures. There's overwhelming evidence that unstructured play goes hand in hand with improving academic achievement. So if our mission is to enrich the experience of all of the students in our county, and if we want to maximize our students' test scores, how about we balance that effort with a policy that mandates 30 minutes of unstructured play? Taking away recess will not help our academics. We cannot ignore these national recommendations that we've been hearing. We need a clear, non-negotiable policy for recess. 30 for recess is not a slogan or an initiative. It's a need for a policy commitment from you. Let's write it in our rules, enforce it in our schools, and protect it for every child every day. Thank you.
Thank you. Allison Barkanier.
Hi, I'm Allison Barganier, and I'm a mother of 2 children in Dekalb County Schools. I'm here to speak for myself and many of the deeply concerned parents in my community about the reduction in recess. When I share this news with people outside of our community, I'm consistently met with the same reaction, which is, have these people ever met a child? It's becoming painfully clear that this administration may not understand children at all or what they need to thrive. Our children are active, vibrant, curious, and eager to learn, but they are being treated as little more than data points on a MAP testing report. To put this all into perspective, incarcerated individuals, yes, people in prison, are legally guaranteed 1 to 2 hours of outdoor structured time per day. Our children have been reduced to 15 minutes, which is 3% of their school day. From the limited information we've received from Dekalb County in the email on Friday, you stated that recess was reduced, but you were excited about the expansion of the ELA block to 120 minutes. There is no research that supports the idea that less recess will improve academic performance. On the contrary, as you've heard many people say today, studies show that regular unstructured play boosts attention, cognitive performance, social emotional development, classroom behavior, empathy, and significantly reduces bullying. And let's be clear, your own policy states that recess cannot be withheld for academic reasons, but that is exactly what's happening. Cutting recess to make room for academics is withholding recess for academic reasons. Now, let's talk about instruction. If literacy is the problem and not improving, maybe the issue isn't the amount of time, but the curriculum itself. Why not explore research-backed programs like the Orton-Gillingham curriculum instead of doubling down on methods that aren't working? We also question if the district is even complying with its own 15-minute recess standard. Once you factor in walking to and from the playground, as people have mentioned, kids are getting just 7 to 10 minutes of play. It's not only inadequate, it's non-compliant. I've lived in Dekalb County most of my life, and I'll admit I was naive. I truly believed DeKalb County cared about the children more than just meeting bare minimums. As one of the largest counties in the Southeast, we should be setting the standard for excellence and not falling behind. We want recess restored to a minimum of 30 minutes per day, not 20, not when the schedule allows, every single day without transition time, because our children deserve more than the bare minimum. Thank you for your time and listening to the families you serve.
Thank you, Ms. Barganier. Next, we have David Ziskind, and he is joining virtually.
Hi, I'm David Ziskind, and my wife and I have 3 boys in DeKalb schools, with the oldest in 7th grade at Peachtree Middle. Today, I want to share my experience with DeKalb transportation, specifically the buses. I'm reaching out today as I've had multiple calls and emails to the transportation department ignored. As an aside, thank you to board member Andrew Ziffer, who has been the only person at DeKalb schools who has responded to my transportation concerns. Let me tell you about the first day of school. Our 7th grader came back to the house from the bus stop at 8:40 a.m., practically in tears since he was going to be late on the first day. The bus tracking app was not updated, last showing the bus as of 3 a.m. at the bus lot. We took him to school and I emailed Bernardo Brown. In the afternoon, he was still at school at 4:45 with no bus updates. I called the transportation department number on the website. The first person transferred me to dispatch, who then transferred me to someone's voicemail after waiting on hold for 5 minutes. We called the school, who said they had no information from transportation as to the bus status. This was all on Monday. Since then, I've sent several follow-up emails to Mr. Brown and even attempted to call his office. I received his voicemail greeting saying it's all about the children and calls will be returned within 24 hours. Then it says no messages may be taken for this mailbox. It is full. Last week, the bus was not on time once, in the morning or afternoon. In the afternoon, it routinely arrived at our stop after and well after 5 p.m. And this Monday morning, the start of the second week of school, it was already late on the ride to school, with the only communication being from the school. While I might be able to understand the ongoing excuses about bus and staffing reliability, what I can't understand is why DeKalb Schools transportation fails to communicate. And I should mention that last year, at best, the bus tracking was working perhaps 50% of the time. School board members, we can do better. I understand millions of dollars are being spent on bus tracking software that is either not working or not implemented or updated properly. There is no excuse for the transportation department not responding to email and phone contacts from concerned parents. I encourage you to dig in, hold transportation accountable, and improve this situation. We are fortunate that we have a 7th grader who wants to be at school on time every day. We are unfortunate that we have a transportation department who does not share his passion for getting to and from school reliably and on time. Please help us get our kids to and from school safely, reliably, and on time. Thank you.
Thank you. And the next person up is Tyler Gaines. On deck, we have Miriam Martin, Sandra Burdette, and Dr. Carla Drenner.
Good evening. My name is Tyler Gaines. Thank you for letting me speak with you tonight. I'm here to speak with you about item number 14 on your agenda under the donation section, which is the additional seating at Dunwoody High School. This project has been in some form of concept for the last 20 years. And in the last 2 years, we've kind of begun in earnest, really with the turnover and new leadership of Dr. Horton becoming superintendent, talking about restoring excellence to the schools, coming to our community, and really touring our schools and talking about things that he could go do to make it better. Really kind of got a group of us together to start picking up this initiative. We've also worked with board members. We've worked with DeKalb County staff and different departments from purchasing to legal to figure out what were the obstacles that were keeping it done previously and what were things that we could do to address it. So I believe the MOU you have in front of you today is really the culmination of all of those stakeholders that we've worked with to remove the risk from DeKalb County, from both a financial risk, but also the execution risk of getting it done, putting it back on the high school and the donor base there. So we feel like that's the main component of it. I think the other part is going and using this as a template. I think there's gonna be a lot of lessons learned about how to go forward with designing the project, pricing it out, contracting it, and building in a cost-effective way. I think one thing to go think about is we have lights, we have the field, we have the track, right? We have a lot of events there. We don't have varsity football there today. And so I think the bulk of the infrastructure DeKalb is invested in. I think having a private donation to go make the balance of this project complete will relieve facilities that are overcrowded in other areas and provide it there. I think the other thing that I'm probably most excited about this project is the lead donor is a former DeKalb County student. And I can't really think of a better way and a better example of somebody who's gone on to achieve immeasurable success, going and giving back to his community, giving back to his public school. I think public schools make communities stronger. I think strong communities make public schools stronger. And so as we see this in front of you today, I hope that everybody sees this for the opportunity of what it is. It's a way to go to make the facilities better for this high school, for these students, for DeKalb County, but it's also a way to go to show that a school system and a local community and a local school and successful students can turn around and give back to their community. So when it comes on the agenda today, I hope you'll vote yes under the donation section for the additional seating at Dunwoody High School. We also have several members of the community that worked on this project over the last several years here with us today. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, Miriam Martin.
Good evening. I'm Miriam Martin, a retired educator. This past May, I addressed the school board about the importance of having a serious, effective discipline program in our schools. Such a program must be certain, consistent, and enforce real consequences. Spending $1.6 million on vapor detection devices will not change behavior. An effective discipline program will. When DeKalb schools piloted the voucher program to address cell phone use, it proved ineffective. The schools that saw the most success were those with clear rules, consistent enforcement, and certain consequences for breaking those rules. We already know what the problem is. And in many cases, we know who the primary offenders are. The real issue is our failure to address it. Students going to the restroom every class period is a problem. Teenage biology hasn't changed in the last decade. I asked the board members, when you were in high school, did you go to the restroom 3 or 4 times a day? Likely not. When students are not in the classroom, they are not learning. Meanwhile, our teachers go the entire day without a restroom break. Many of them have kidneys that are 3 to 4 times the age of their students' kidneys. In many cases, restrooms have become places where drugs are sold, bought, consumed, along with other serious misconduct. If a student has a legitimate medical need, they should provide documentation from a licensed physician. Our teachers and staff will fully support those students. The vapor detection system does not address the misuse of restroom passes. A well-defined discipline program does. The school district needs to stop throwing good money after bad. We do have a crisis in our school, but it must be addressed by administrators willing to impose real, meaningful consequences. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, Sandra Burnett.
My name is Sandra Burdett. Dr. Horton, I was appalled last school year when I saw you on TV talking about the situation at MLK regarding that incident. I know people who work at the school. People have said you should have waited. Bad move. Also, I heard about you riding the school bus. What was that about? Were you micromanaging the bus driver, or did you just want to be seen? You should have been at Tucker High School that afternoon when the students were sitting on the bus for almost an hour. Did the students receive any water? That's what should have been on the news. Also, one of the dumbest things that I have heard is that half cap. That is a waste of taxpayers' money. If my child had been a senior, I would have been very upset. The half cap does not make students want to graduate. My grandchild said he was not interested. Also, that is a false sense of the real world. The students need to be offered something that would catch their attention, not a cap. Another thing bothered me last year was when you all were trying not to suspend students. You can't make a student learn if they don't want to. Also, it is a false sense of the real world. There are jails that don't play with people. The students may need some type of counseling to find out what is their goal in life. We need to know how to assist them. Boys are bored in school. You need to know how to service them, but not with a cap. Teachers complain about the students having more rights than they do, which is sad, but true. Do you have anything in place where teachers can bend and not be penalized? It is also sad when I hear teachers say they are marking the calendar. The school systems need to work better on discipline rules. 3 strikes, you're out. Don't forget, the school is a learning institution, not a babysitting service. Also, I saw Sequoia Middle School. You're building a middle school and a high school in this little area. Okay, I'm gonna call it a little segregation too, but they need more space. I thought that was horrible. Then I go by Smoke Rise, they got this big old area for elementary school. Okay, let's say segregation still exists, but you know, I was really appalled about it. Have a good day. I'll be back.
Thank you, Representative Drenner.
Thank you all. I appreciate the opportunity this evening, Madam Chair, board members. Good evening. My name is Dr. Carla Drenner, and I am the chair of the DeKalb County Legislative Delegation. And I have represented the people of DeKalb County for over 25 years. I'm also a parent, as you can see, of 2 young children. And this is my second time in 25 years that I have attended a board meeting. And I want you to know that's important. I'm here because many families are deeply concerned about the recent reduction in recess time. In some cases, from 30 minutes down to the bare minimum of 15. While this may meet the letter of the law, it does not meet the needs of our children. Recess is a health and a learning essential. Recess is not a luxury. It's a vital tool for improving physical health emotional regulation, social skills, and academic performance. The CDC, headquartered right here in DeKalb County, recommends at least 20 minutes of recess daily. In some neighborhoods in DeKalb, youth obesity is approaching 40%. Cutting recess takes away one of the most simplest, most effective ways to combat that crisis, reduce stress, and help children return to the classroom ready to learn. Literacy and recess are not in conflict. I fully support the district's focus on literacy. State data shows that only about 44% of Georgia's third graders are reading on grade level. That is a crisis we all must address. But research also shows we do not have to choose between literacy and recess. We need both. Physical activity during recess helps children reset mentally, improving focus and learning retention. The CDC's 20-minute recommendation is the floor, not the ceiling. And DeKalb should lead by giving our students more than the minimum. That's why I'm asking the board today to, number one, restore full recess time where reduced, ensuring at least 30 minutes of daily unstructured outdoor play, weather permitting. And number two, commit to uniform rescheduling and public accountability. Thank you, and I appreciate your time today.
Thank you.
Okay. It says I'm live. Okay, so this is something I was trying to show during the meeting, but did not get to. So let's see here. Let me find it. Of course, I have to go out here and look for it now because that's how things work. Let me come over here. Gotta open this.